Yes, and now the interview section of the program starts. A lot of people have heard about social welfare. How effective is social welfare in Nigeria? And then how do people get the care they need, the access they need to social welfare in Nigeria? I mean, there's a lot of questions. Are the underprivileged getting the kind of care, the vulnerable, youths, women, children, you know? And then discussing the social welfare services in the FCT today with us is the Director of FCT Social Welfare Services, Ambassador Sani Rabe. You're an ambassador of peace, right?
Yes.
That's the ambassador in it.
Ambassador,
so,
thank you so much for coming.
Yes.
The program.
Thank you.
Yes.
So let's start with the first basic question. What does FCT provide for the citizens or indigents of the state, of the territory, when we talk about social welfare?
Thank you. Well, Social Welfare Department is under Social Development Secretariat of the Federal Capital Territory Administration.
Okay.
That the secretariat that deal with the human component of the administration, especially on issues related to the vulnerables. When we say vulnerable, people that are downtrodden, that due to reason are incapacitated for one reason or the other, ranging from gender-based violence victims, child welfare, the welfare of persons with disability, the aged persons, the youths, family issues, indigent families, indigent patients in the hospitals, especially general hospital only here. In every general hospital of the Federal Capital Territory, we have social workers there. We have 15 general hospitals in the FCT. And in every of such, we have social workers.
From your department?
Yes, they are all under Social Welfare Department of Social Development Secretariat. And then we have rehabilitation services for persons with disability, repentant, emotional caregivers. Some people, they say commercial sex workers or otherwise.
I was going to ask you what emotional caregivers. I know that's the beautiful that's a nice way of putting it. Emotional caregivers.
Yeah, when you say commercial sex workers, it sounds one kind. Just like before, people are labeling as prostitute or otherwise. Now, you at least a bit more dignifying, be human, you know. We are all part, it takes two to tango, both the man and the woman, right?
Yes.
So we call it emotional caregivers. Those who decided for one reason or the other, either poverty, influence of fear group, environmental influences or otherwise, choose to modify their body, either for money, fun, or otherwise. These are the people we are talking about. Some of them think that's the way their life ought to be. Some join it thinking there is life in it. But as time goes by, when we do get in contact through our reach out service of counseling, they do realize there is no life in there. So many of them decide to repent. Many of them drop out of school, could not even finish their secondary education. So these are some of the people that social welfare services catered for.
You have a large number of people that you cater for. So maybe what we'll do
these beggars by the street side, mentally challenged, vagabonds, the homeless. You know,
but my question will now go to, I mean, FCT population seems to be skyrocketing. I know there was a projected number of residents that were expected in the FCT, but we are seeing as much as 3.652 million in 2022 alone. There was a 5.6% increase
in the number
of
people.
Has it overwhelmed the social service of the FCT when it comes to delivering these initiatives to better the lives of residents?
It does. You know, as the population influx get increasing, it equally overstretched the facilities and even the personnel services of social welfare services. You know, these cases of insecurity in the neighboring states. In fact, even from the neighboring countries, we do have issue of beggars overwhelming. And sometimes the cases of this mentally challenged, sometimes we do as if people are importing them into the city. Believe me, as if you are trafficking. Many times you see us who have over 20, 30. Presently, I will tell you, if you go to our holding ground FCT Vocational Rehabilitation Center, Buhari. I think only the mentally challenged now, we have over 106 now, as I'm speaking with you.
In the holding ground?
Yes. Okay. And the FCT Psychiatric Hospital has only 30 bed space there.
Wow.
You see it?
Yes.
Can you see that?
Yeah. So you don't have enough infrastructures to accommodate. Yes.
So even they are overstretched and the other way around. Okay. And then there are other people that will equally take their patient, apart from the mentally challenged, destitute by the roadside that were picking, removing from the street under the responsibility of the FCTA. Other individuals that they have their own mentally challenged, patient, they do take them there.
Okay. So as family members?
Yes.
Right.
Okay. If you go to the hospital, Kari, you see by yourself.
Ambassador Rabe, I would like us to look at some of the people that you have called as vulnerable, the emotional caregivers, the social caregivers, the handicaps, and people living with disabilities, and then explore some of the projects that you do for those people separately and in boxes. So when you're looking at social welfare, let's start with the aged people. Having old homes for old people is not something that is common in
this side of the country. Exactly.
You understand? Most people keep their old people at home or get some small child to stay with them and look at them. Let's explore social welfare services for people above the ages, maybe 70, 80, people who are pensioners or people who are also disabled living with those things. What kind of facilities or projects do you do for those people? And then we'll take them bit by bit for the sectors that you look at as vulnerable.
Thank you. Well, as Africans,
yes,
we don't encourage having older people's home separate.
Okay.
For someone to carry his older person and abandon him. This is someone that nurture you.
Okay.
Take care of you and your siblings. Many of you put together. So all of you, just one person, you can't take care of him. Is it the payback? We don't encourage that.
Okay.
What we do a kind of reach out.
Okay.
We go to the communities, interact with them, give them different kind of counseling, ranging from dieting, exercising, socializing,
okay,
so that it will threaten their physical health and mental health as well. Okay. Isolation is something else. Even you yourself, you imagine the children that you born grow to a certain level. Even, let's say they are within the age of 10, 15, and they abandon you at their age, despite the fact that you are strong. How will you feel? Talk much of someone who nurtured you from a toddler. He became human. He guided you. He became what you are. Yeah. You cannot spare time to take care of that person.
Ambassador, but you must admit that sometimes it's a vacuum in the quest to to pursue economic stability. You don't often have that time to give that care for the aged, not because you would not like to be more available, yes, but because you might just need the help. I mean, see what is going on with our children. Very often parents do not have the time. I've heard of complaints that sometimes you don't even get to see your parents in the weekday, in the pursuit for economic stability. You leave home so early before the children leave for school. By the time you return, they are exhausted and have gone to bed. And some categories of aged people need some sort of care. They need to be assisted. They need to be checked out when they have medical care and all of that. You must have admit there is that need to, have something that cares for them.
My sister, the word love in court, the one that you more appreciate.
Yes.
Somebody color that to you. You cannot show me love by just sending somebody to take care of me. When I took care of you, when you are a toddler, you became human.
Right.
Yes.
That's not an excuse.
That's not an African culture, I can imagine.
But we now have to move ahead.
Let's talk about domestic violence. Domestic violence is something that is prevalent in Nigeria and unfortunately has been on the increase. I think whether women are not responding to men the way they used to, or men are not responding to women the way they used to. But you see a lot of relationships, not necessarily marriages alone, but that have a lot of domestic violence. Does the social, the FCT social welfare address issues like that? Is there a desk where people can come and say, look, my husband, I'm having issues with him, I need to talk to somebody? Do we have counseling too for people that are dealing with, you know, issues that have to deal with relationships and abuse, whether it's verbal abuse or physical abuse?
Yes, there are such desk office in the Social Development Secretariat.
Okay.
You know, Social Development Secretariat have 7 departments, more or less 8 departments now.
Okay.
3 departments work interwoven. That is the youth development, gender and child welfare, and social welfare. All of them offer social work services.
Okay.
We have an office dedicated to respond to sexually gender-based violence.
Okay.
Wow,
and the
wonderful.
office is working in conjunction with the office of the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Okay.
European Union are supporting.
Okay.
And United Nations also are part of the sporting team.
Okay.
We are all working in conjunction.
Okay.
The problem where this issue is on the increase because it's underreported.
Oh, you think it's underreported?
It's
Even as we're
underreported.
hearing
I'm
so
telling
much.
you, it's underreported.
And Nigerians are still afraid of stigma?
Thank you. So what we are canvassing is support from other NGOs who can reach out to the people for more awareness.
Right.
We are doing it, but we need more support. You know, government services are limited within the umbrella of what? Limited budget provisions.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
So we need the support, volunteers. Even a neighbor can assist in reporting. Because there are cases that we have handled.
How
it was
do they
reported
report?
by
Who do they report
neighbors.
to?
Huh?
How do they report? Who do they report to? How can people access those services?
Thank you. Well, we have desk office, as I said, is the FCT, sorry, is Social Development Secretariat, Area 10.
Okay.
There is the desk offices just dedicated for that services only.
Okay.
And then if you report the case to any of the police station, they have GWC.
Oh, so they get in touch.
Juvenile,
Right,
yes,
okay.
and gender, women, juvenile and women, you know, sections.
Okay.
One issue related, then they just bring it to us.
Oh, okay.
You understand?
Okay.
Why I say it's underreported. Some is either by culture or fear of stigmatization and otherwise.
Wow.
So as a result of that, the perpetrators think what they are doing is okay because they have never been brought to book. They have never been chastised.
And they continue.
They will continue.
Okay.
That's why we encourage people to speak up, to open up, report.
So
One of the ethics of social work services is confidentiality.
right.
You would not report the case for the fear of this stigmatization by members of the public. We'll conceal their identity, but we'll make sure that justice
It's served.
is served.
Well, I had a conversation with your desk, gender-based violence desk officer some time ago, and she was telling me that she can't even tell people where they have those clusters of intervention houses. So when a woman comes out to say, I have been molested like this, or abused or violated, and they are taken to, I've forgotten the name of those houses, those safe houses. They can't shelters, exactly, those shelters. They don't even tell the media or anybody where those shelters are, and that's a good one. But my question is, in Cross River State, where I come from, the social services is so active that if your husband even tries anything, say he's molesting you, or there's a separation case and you want to get into the child custody, you threaten with social welfare. In the FCT, does it exude that fear when he says, I'm calling social welfare for you? And people usually are so afraid that they sit up and behave right. Does it, have you found in your interaction and engagement with residents that you exude that much fear too?
We do have.
Right.
The reason why you didn't have much of it, because as I said, underreporting.
Right.
You understand?
Yes.
But if cases are reported, we do act accordingly. We have cases where a lady married a man with her 9-year-old younger sister. They stayed there for 3 solid years. The foolishness of the lady, that the wife, for the fear of the man not to cheat out, do you know she offered her younger sister that if you want to have...
9 years?
Yes.
That's pedophile.
That happened at one time in one of the schools here in the suburbs of the FCT. Now this school social counselor addressing children how to, behave, how to protect their privacy, private parties, and all that.
Yes.
The little girl was in JS2. She now spoke to her friends. She said, but this, my daddy is doing it to me.
Oh,
so
my
who's
God,
her daddy? She said the husband of her senior sister.
Mm-hmm.
Then the tell principal now. She reported to the principal. The principal invited her into his office. He sat her down, and because a teacher is a counselor also in his own level, he was so friendly, encouraging the girl. He now invited other staff in his office and asked her to repeat. The little girl opened up. So when she noticed the situation, she became scared. We were informed, we have to rush. We went there. First, the woman and the husband have to be arrested.
Exactly,
Yes.
exactly.
When they were arrested, the issue was reported to the mother of the little girl in the village.
Oh no.
We invited her. When she came, she said, no, please, I will take my little daughter away. I don't want anything to happen to the marriage of my own daughter.
Oh, no.
Can you see that?
The family still interferes.
Good.
Now, talking about stories like this, do we have psychoanalysis that is done for
psychosocial?
Whether psychosocial analysis or mental health checks that we do for people, one, for victims, two, for perpetrators? Because you can, like from what you're saying, the mother already feels the bigger thing to save is her daughter's marriage, as opposed to the mental, physical, and emotional health of the 9-year-old child who's being abused. So do you people attach, or do you people have those kind of medical interventions for victims and perpetrators too of crime?
It's not medical, but psychosocial intervention.
Psychosocial intervention.
Yes, we have psychologists. The only thing that they say we are understaffed in that aspect, but we do have.
Okay. And
like in our
function?
Vocational Rehabilitation Center Buhari, FCT Vocational Rehabilitation Center Buhari, we do carry out psychosocial therapy to people that are depressed, people with similar cases as you're saying, people that have some mental challenges, and drug addicts that doesn't require any medical
intervention.
Drugs. Yes, no any drug, nothing.
So there are rehabilitation centers for them, right?
Presently, as I'm speaking with you, we have not less than 75 drug addicts undergoing this psychosocial therapy in FCT Rehabilitation Center Buhari. And what we are doing is such psychosocial therapy, whereby, anyway, it is a long story. The way we
it's a long story,
and it takes time.
Right.
We are different from psychiatric doctors.
How do people go about it? How do they assess those facilities? If I know I'm depressed, must I be an indigent of FCT, or for the mere fact that I live in the FCT allows me to, reach out to those kind of services? How do people go about getting? Because that's one thing we don't really explore in this country. Our mental health, our psychosocial well-being, we don't really explore it. So how can the average person assess
if I'm feeling anxious,
beautiful services that the social welfare of FCT is offering?
Well, as far as our FCT residents, regardless of whoever you are, so far you are a resident, any nationality, you are free to come to the Social Development Secretariat for such. Or if you have someone who's into or having such kind of conditions, you can report. Don't that need to be, on a body sort of, we take him to Buhari. It takes time, actually. We are different from psychiatric doctors.
Of course.
In a day when you go to a psychiatric doctor, must prescribe something for you. But in our own case, it can take us 3 weeks more. We'll be observing you until we're able to get what you want. Sometimes it takes us a month before we get certain information from someone. And at the end of the day, we do have success out of such.
Oh, that's good.
Okay, in cases where these cases are not brought to you directly and they are taken to the police station, do you have that synergy and partnership with the security agencies such that if it's a social welfare case, they bring it to you, and vice versa. If you stumble on a police-related case, a case that's out of your jurisdiction, you take it to the police.
Of course, we have such energy. At this juncture, I must appreciate FCT Police Command.
Right.
They are very cooperative.
Okay.
The divisions, all the police divisions, they do cooperate with us. And they do support us. Any case related to social, they will even assign officers to convey such victims straight to our office for handling. We have such cases, many.
Okay, that's good.
And then when we have cases that requires police intervention,
okay,
we report them immediately without wasting time.
Okay.
Recently, just last year, we have cases of these corporate beggars who will go to some states, which is illegal, to bring a cancer patient with such kind of ugly-looking cancer, whatever.
I actually saw that where there was the FCT Minister of State had the surgery for her. Yeah, please tell us about that. That was interesting. Yes.
This very one you are talking that Minister of State, Dr. Rabe directed. It is in the course of our own patrol, sanitizing the city street of this human nuisance, removing the beggars, mentally challenged, and the likes of it. We come across those corporate beggars. What they does, they will go to a village, get this church, come to the city, we go around to some location, make money for themselves, not for...
Oh, not even for the person
yes, that same lady you saw.
Yes.
They went to Kuresiba State, made this girl tell the family that they have hospital where they do carry out such surgery free, and they tell us Lagos. They took that girl, come down here for 2 solid years.
They were
with that girl. One, they deny her access to her home SIM, so the parent don't know where this girl was.
She was actually a prisoner.
Yes, 2 years before we finally intervened, and successfully she was operated.
Yes. Ambassador, if Naya had been asking, and I'm not sure you've quite responded, how can we reach out easily to you if we see such things? For instance, just what you mentioned, very often when you go to Nigerian markets,
I never knew that they were corporate beggars and that
they are corporate beggars and
bleeding. You understand that?
And in FCT begging is banned.
So when people see that, they should call the center.
Yes, well, one of the easiest way, we have FCT call center whereby every bridge you see the numbers.
Exactly.
It is much easier.
Right, just call the numbers you find.
That FCT call center at any given time before there are somebody's on ground.
Yes, we'll put up the number on the screen so that you can call
and they will reach us immediately.
Yes. Okay.
When you reach out them, there are numbers they have for WhatsApp or you call.
Okay.
They will reach us immediately and you see response. 247 we're on ground.
Oh, wow.
247.
I never knew that. I actually thought they were helping the people they're moving around with. Oh, wow.
No, they are not.
Sad.
They are exploiting them. People with such kind of condition doesn't need, in fact, is stressing and make their condition to be more complicated. They don't need stress.
Let's talk about rehabilitation of commercial sex workers, is what I know them as, emotional caregivers.
Thank you.
It's one of the oldest professions in the world. And sometimes, like you said, peer pressures can attract people into that, or maybe that's just the way they've grown up. Their mothers did this, so they have grown up and know that that's the only way of making money through their bodies, you understand? And it's very difficult to rehabilitate people in that sector because sometimes they always end up going back. Accommodation becomes a problem for them. They can't provide accommodation for themselves, so they end up staying in those same places where they've been trying to rehabilitate. What does the rehabilitation process entail for people like this? Do they get some kind of education? Do they get some kind of accommodation? Are they given supervision, mental, moral, motivation to keep them on the right path?
Thank you. We do have.
Okay.
We started program for this educational empowerment scholarship scheme for such class of ladies.
Oh, okay, that's good.
But the interested one, because you cannot post something.
Exactly.
We used to go on the street, arrest them, counsel them, and then those who have the interest will now put them for, skill acquisition training.
Right.
Now, it was last year, 2022, we started this educational empowerment. There is one NGO in a COVID education network that we are partnering with.
Okay.
Last year, we have about 75 or so that after the tutorial, anyway, we organize pre-tutorial for them because many of them abandoned school for long.
Exactly.
You cannot just register them to go and write WAEC.
Exactly.
They left school halfway, some at JS3, some SS3, some SS2, and name it. So you cannot just come there and make them to write. Exactly. So many of them said they joined the prostitution business because they couldn't afford what? Even school fees, examination fees to write NECO, WAEC. So we started it last year. This in our COVID education network, assistants or facilitators have been volunteer teachers.
Wow.
In fact, we started, we have 50 volunteer teachers.
Oh, that's
I must
wonderful.
appreciate this University of Nigeria Nsukka alumni.
Okay.
They provided most of the volunteer teachers.
Oh, that's great.
And there were even some police officers that equally have the passion.
Okay. Volunteer to teach as well.
There's one ambassador, Ambassador Marcel. He's a professor based in UK. When he came down here, he joined us. Just this week, we communicated in terms of having more scholarship provision for indigent, children of indigent families and commercial sex workers who repent and choose to better their education.
Wow.
Jabi Primary School is our main center.
Okay.
They wrote November, December WAEC.
Oh, that's such a good story.
Just 2 days ago, on Tuesday, that is this January Tuesday, this 2 days ago. What the date, please?
17th.
17th.
Yes.
We started doing data capture, registering the second batch that will write their February WAEC this same year.
That's impressive.
And the program is ongoing. What we do is the children in indigent families, either a child, a boy, or a girl, this one regardless of your gender. And then for the commercial sex workers, those who are interested join.
Okay.
We organize tutorial for them. Free lesson. The only thing you do is bring yourself.
Right.
Just bring
yourself and your brain.
We register you.
How has funding been? Because I know the government cannot accommodate all of these laudable things that people are doing. Do you have public-private partnership? I know you've mentioned one an NGO.
Some NGOs,
but is there been a lot of response from the private sector to support, financially to what you're doing?
Well,
or do we call on them to also come in and then participate?
Please, we would like the to call on them. Okay. But I must appreciate
the ones who have collaborated, right?
Okay.
DGSSS.
Okay.
Or the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I think he offered and paid for about 28.
Oh wow!
Oh, that was a private individual.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Well, last year, we get support from some angles also, and we contributed our own. And government business is tight on limited budget provision.
Exactly.
Yes.
Depending on what is available in the government pocket.
Yes.
We really need your support.
We are here.
To please
we are here all the time.
For more sponsorship from individuals, organizations.
Right.
Okay.
When we started, our target was 500 to start with. So when they came, what we did was, after tutorial, we did a kind of mock exam. That mock exam is to screen those who can write very well. Because we told them this is not a miracle center. You have to do it yourself because the government wants the best.
Yes.
It's only when you are better we can make the society better also.
Absolutely. Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
The response we had, 2,000 plus responded. I'm telling you.
Wow.
Right now, in our list, we have our 3,000 on ground.
Wow.
But when we conducted mock exam last week, we just have about 30-something for now. That is, this 3,000 is from that last year.
Right.
And some of them choose not to write WAEC, but
write NECO.
Some NAPTEP.
NAPTEP, okay.
Yes, there is modular exam by NAPTEP.
Okay.
That even if you specialize in this they can make exam for you to get certificate equivalent to it.
Okay.
Even if it's akara or food.
Yeah, I must thank you, Ambassador Sani Rabe, the Director of Social Welfare Services in the FCT. Thank you so much for enlightening us so much about what you do and the initiatives and programs of the
you said,
social welfare
to the public
Thank
to
you
get
very
involved.
much.
You know, this is something
and you
that
do much more.
Yes, we would collaborate more, really.
A lot of people, yeah.